Hey everybody, today we're talking about the Heights of Alma, which is the second game in our Shot and Shell battle series. First one being Seven Pines or Fair Oaks. The Battle of the Alma actually has a lot of significance for me because my very first published game design was a magazine game on this battle. They had an 11 by 17 map. This is a 22 by 34 inch map, so 4 times as big, and doesn't quite fit on this table. I've been playing it on our inside table, but we thought the light's much better out here, and you get the nice ambiance of cars and people and dogs passing by. So, let's do a video out here. So the situation is you have the Russians facing off against the French, British, and Turkish. And the Russians have this defensive position, which is a pretty impressive position, but they've also completely squandered it, especially on their left flank, which is, as you can see, like super exposed. And they thought that the French wouldn't be able to get up those cliffs. They were wrong. They were very wrong. And the guy in charge of that flank was also very drunk. And so the units don't function very well. They don't really support each other's attacks. They don't move as fast as units on the right flank can move. It's just all around a bad time. So you'll notice that we have a dotted kind of zigzag line running up and down the battlefield, and that is separating the battle into 2 sectors. So there's the British sector, which is opposing the right Russian flank, which has these kind of impressive artillery batteries, and then you have the French sector, which is again rolling up this completely exposed nonsense over here. And the British and the French have to stay in their own sectors. They can't cross over or help each other. They're all both doing their own thing. On the Russian side of it, the Russian overall commander, who's also in charge of the right flank, he can move units over to the left to kind of shore it up. But units don't move from the left back to the right. He's taking these units and putting them under the control of a crazy drunk man. So that's kind of the overall situation. An important part of the Battle of the Alma is the Manet rifle, which the French and British have, which outranges the Russian artillery and also the Russian muskets. In fact, only units that have the Manet rifle can perform fire combat. Infantry units, artillery can still fire, of course. Now, the British did not know that the Manet rifle had this incredible range and accuracy. The French probably told them, but the British probably weren't paying attention, so good for you guys. How the British found out about it is one of the units who was ordered to charge against the enemy batteries refused to charge, refused the order from their commander, and fired instead. And then, whoa, this thing's pretty cool. Let's do this instead. And they did, and it didn't work out so well for the Russians. Now, until that unit comes into play, and is kind of pulling teeth getting them into play, because the overall commander of the British decided, after giving kind of vague orders to charge ahead, he decided he would sneak behind enemy lines and watch the battle from a better point of view, without telling any of his subordinates. So they had no idea where he was or what was going on. So it's kind of troublesome getting one of the commanders to actually put his units forward, because he's waiting for orders from Lord Raglan, who is AWOL. Once that unit comes into play, though, the Manet rifle ability is unlocked for the British. Up until that point, the British can't perform fire combat. They can't even perform close combat. If you're familiar with the series, they can only do charges. Charges against well-entrenched enemy artillery that are on a high hill, because that's how the British do it. This particular game has more special rules than Seven Pines, because the Seven Pines game and the overall Shot and Shell battle series system is kind of built particularly for American Civil War battles, and this is some 10 years or more before that. So there are special rules to make it more appropriate for this period. So it's a bit more chromy, a bit more of a learning curve than what you had in Seven Pines. But I definitely think it's worth it. This is really a fascinating battle, and I really enjoyed finding ways to recreate it the first time. and I enjoyed it even more doing it again for this game, the Heights of Alma, coming out very soon from Hollandspiel. Hooray!